10,
9, 8,
7,
6, 5,
4,
3,
2, 1.
Hey, Skywalkers!
Happy Snow White Monday. Oh,
Ah,
Fernando was with us and Maria.
Excellent.
Thank you for always being
Maria.
here.
Excellent.
Most appreciated.
Yeah. So in a little bit, if you haven't joined us already, in a little bit, we'll put a link to join us on screen. But for the moment, we have to do an intro for our things we want to share. Right, Richard?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, and Meredith is here, and Julie and James are here. Excellent. All right. So, what are we doing today, Richard?
Things we want to share.
Things we want to share. Things we want to share. Things we want to share.
Yeah, that's us. Things we want to
All right.
share.
Yeah.
All right. This is going to be a Snow White discussion, but before that,
With spoilers? With spoilers.
with spoilers, yes.
Yeah. You can't have a discussion without.
No.
How much can we spoil? The movie's been out for almost 70 years.
Well, this new version is a little different,
That's very true.
but we'll get into that.
Yes,
But
yes.
first,
We want to tell you all about this coming episode, number 508 this week. It is Forest Moon Festival. Now, for those who aren't going to Celebration Japan or even anywhere else, but so Forest Moon Festival, it is a festival taking place May 30th through June the 1st up in Northern California, right around the locations of Endor, the Endor filming locations. And we talked with 3 of the coordinators for this week's show, and we already made plans to be there in 2026.
yes, not this year. A little too soon for this year, but
Yeah.
next year we are very excited to be there. We have to visit the Endor. Come on.
Yeah, we haven't been there
We've been
yet.
to Tatooine.
We've been to Whippendale Woods. We've been to Naboo, been to
Mhm.
Tatooine, Naboo, and we were on the Death Star
Yes.
and
yes.
over in Van Nuys.
That's right. But we haven't been to Endor. So looking forward to that. But if you can't get there next year, you can always go there this year. But you'll learn more about that on episode 508.
Yeah, we talked about doing our Star Wars game show next year at some of their locations up there. That's gonna be really exciting. And this is a 3-day festival where they have some panels, they have activities for the family.
You can watch Return of the Jedi among the redwoods.
Yeah. Oh,
Amazing.
that itself is worth the trip up there.
Mhm.
So once again, that is this week's Skywalking Through Neverland episode number 508, Forest Moon Festival.
All right. And a reminder, this Friday, we will be at WonderCon, and we are going to be doing our Star Wars trivia party, 9 p.m. panel, Star Wars trivia at WonderCon.
And we've been working the last couple of days to get everything all
Oh.
set.
Yeah. Do you have a show and tell, Richard?
I do. Our good friend James Gildersleeve.
Should we bring them up?
Yeah, bring him up out
Okay.
there.
Okay.
Okay.
oh.
Hey there.
Hey, you are on mute.
There we go.
There we go.
So yeah,
Here we are.
so we thought this year it'd be really fun to use the forces of destiny and have each contestant spin the wheel to see what category they were gonna pick.
Yep.
And last night,
Wow. Look at that.
all of these.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Okay.
is it-
Well,
is it coming
I
apart?
gotta fix it. All right. Yes.
You've got time. You've got time.
Yes.
Yeah. So it'll be a lot of fun because once again, every year people will always pick the same categories.
Mhm.
So not anymore, they won't. 'Cause we have the spinning wheel of doom.
That's right.
Leilani gets another job.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there you go. Awesome.
So James, you gotta tell Chipotle they may not be getting this back.
They probably won't even miss it. They'll just be like, "Where did that wheel go?" I put it.
Who
I
knows?
don't know. Check Jack in the next cubicle. Maybe.
Yeah, it's in a closet somewhere. Yeah.
All right. Oh, we got Token Fanboy weighing in. that they will not be at WonderCon, but they'll be at Anime Detour in Minnesota. Cool. That sounds
Well,
awesome.
when you're done with that, come over to WonderCon.
Yeah.
Minnesota's right next door, right? I was really
There's
bad.
also
John.
a toy convention in Atlanta this weekend.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Toylanta. Yeah.
Yeah, but all of us cool kids will be in Anaheim at WonderCon at the Anaheim Convention
Yes,
Center.
we
Or
will.
at Disneyland.
And earlier that day we'll be at Disneyland for a season of the Force.
Along with a lot of Skywalkers, like you two.
Yes,
We
I
will.
think
We will.
it's like the fourth,
Third. No,
third.
this is the only, well, it's the third season of the Force, but the second consecutive season of the
Right.
Force right now.
It's kind of like in the beginning of Star Wars weekend. It was like every other year, but they had some seasons of the Force that just kind of sprang up, and you didn't know it was there
Yeah.
until you got there.
Oh, and Jeff also is
Oh, Jeff
WonderCon Disneyland double feature this weekend. Yes,
Nice.
absolutely.
And
Cool.
Fernando wishes he would lived in California
Yeah, lots of cool stuff all over the country.
someday. So yeah, once again, can't say this enough. It'll be a great time. Friday, the 28th of March at 9 p.m.
Mhm.
Room, I want to say 213.
Sure, I don't remember.
Just look at the
Yeah.
schedule.
Look at our events.
Just listen for the loud group.
Exactly
And
at 9
Listen
p.m.
for the wheel spinning.
Yeah. Follow the chaos.
just listen for this. right now, Courtney's going, that sound. Where's that sound coming from?
Yeah.
No,
All right, so I have a question for everyone. Should we talk about Snow White first, or should we do an unboxing first?
I would say we should do Snow White first. That would be me. Gildersleeves?
You don't want to unbox?
I mean, you just got to make sure you cut. You got to make sure you end on so that you have time to do your unboxing. Kara's
Okay.
gonna go through this thing. She doesn't unbox this.
All right.
Okay, Jeff says unboxing.
Okay, we like Snow White. We wish it had less music. Okay.
Well, okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put the invite link to those of you who want to come up and talk about Snow White. That way you have some time to get your Chrome browsers ready or whatever. And then while you're doing that, I'm going to unbox this, which has been sitting in our house still boxed for like 4 days.
Surprisingly.
Wanna do it?
Yeah. Oh, what happened?
Yes. Don't make her wait anymore. Please don't make her wait anymore.
Okay.
She's been very good.
All right. If you're looking for the link to join on Facebook, it didn't go. So I'll try again. And if it doesn't go to Facebook, just go to our YouTube channel to find it. It's being weird. All right. So
And to distract Sarah from opening this earlier, we decided to do some construction on the house.
Yeah.
That'll distract her.
all right, Richard, you are going to move the camera around. This is your job.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, we can do this again.
Yes. Okay.
All right, so there we go.
I'm
There's
so
Sarah's
excited.
been waiting for this for so
out of
long.
all the helmets ever in Star Wars, the Armorer is my favorite. When I saw it, I didn't like what are those called? Helmets before.
The helmets?
I didn't no, the Mandalorian helmets didn't grab me before.
Oh, you liked right on
Bo.
Bo-Katan
I did like Bo, but when I saw the Armorer, I was sold on helmets.
on the show. Okay.
Just in general.
Okay,
Yes.
I got you.
Okay, so are we ready?
Hold on.
Okay, wait,
There we
what's
go.
happening? Okay. Oh yeah, this is all here. There you
Oh,
go.
there we go.
Okay, ready? I'm so excited.
Whoa, get a load of this. Hey, look, there's
That's so weird. Okay, stop giving people what is it called?
Vertigo.
Backstage access there.
Yes.
Yay, cardboard.
I know.
Yay.
Oh, so
Four holes.
good. Look, it's our points. Ah.
There's Zabrak points.
Okay, coming through. Oh, okay. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Ooh! Oh, look at this. Oh my goodness. All right. Whoa.
Oh wow, that's big.
That is big.
All right, now what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do first? You're gonna smell it. It smells like new plastic. Oh man.
Nice. Wow. Do you want to put the camera back so that it's lighting better?
Okay.
Just
Just
lighting.
hold on. You know, show the
Oh,
inside.
okay. Okay. Here's the inside. There you go. See that?
Okay. Nice.
Did that help?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. It's
There we go.
okay. Wow. All right. So this is really cool. There's no unlike unlike
Bo-Katan.
Bo-Katan, it doesn't have like anything that
Oh,
moves.
the
Yeah.
rangefinder, and this was supposed to come out this summer.
Yeah, it was
All of a
supposed to come out
sudden,
in July.
Entertainment Earth said, "There you go."
Yeah. Guess what? It's online March 3rd. Okay. I'm gonna put it on.
Well, it feels like summer today, so close enough.
Very true. Well, this is a big helmet. That's
Does it look big?
it does look bigger than I thought.
You know what? You need room for her muff.
Yeah.
You need, like,
That's true.
yeah.
Look at that one compared to Bo-Katan.
Oh, okay.
It's much
It's
much
just
longer.
shaped a little different.
It's longer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it's fine. It looks great.
Okay. By the way, if you're backstage, just stay put and we'll get you on in a second. Oh, all right. That's cool.
Sarah was as excited to open that as Emily Swallow was when she opened hers. That was
She was so
an
cute.
exciting unboxing.
I love following Emily Swallow on Instagram. She's like so excited. It's so she makes me want everything Armorer. And they give it to her. They give her the stuff. So cool. You can't wear that though, it's mine. No.
This is the way.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, say that. I should say that.
You say it just like her though.
This is the way.
There you go. Nice.
That was very, very good. Now, it feels like it should have electronics in it.
It does, and I think it might. I don't know. I feel like I'd have to do some reading, but we do want to focus on Snow White. I just really want.
You open this. You
I
started this. Now we're gonna play with the helmet. Everyone, go get your helmets.
It is electronic. We pulled up the specs on it right now. We're looking.
But what is it? Okay.
Here.
How do you,
This is.
It requires one AAA battery not included.
oh,
Here,
man.
and it's supposed to be on one of the. It's probably this, but there's a.
Like a screw.
No, this usually pops off. It's probably the other side. This usually pops off. Yeah. Boop. And then there's something that it does.
Is it? Are there voice tracks in it? What's? Well, it couldn't be lights because there's nowhere for lights to go.
It
It
All right.
doesn't have the specifics there.
No, I don't know what it does.
Wow, it's really nice though.
10.
James is doing your research for you. Hold on. Stand by.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, it's supposed to be a light, I think. A light for an hour. I'm not sure what light.
Oh, it looks like it lights from the bottom of the helmet.
Oh, yeah. That's what
Oh,
it looks
like
like.
a-
Like this.
okay.
What?
But why?
Nightlight.
But
That's what Bo-Katan's did too, and it was weird. It's this, I think. It's this. That's the light.
Oh,
There's a button.
yeah.
So
We don't need that.
there's a button right here that you press. And apparently if you had a battery in, it would light up.
No, I hope they didn't do a whole lot of research and development for that.
All right. So Jeff is asking, is that for display? And yes, it would
Yes.
definitely be right back here.
That's
And
why we get our
also,
helmets.
I really need to, I want to put together a bound. So for one of these trivia panels that we're going to do, I'll probably
All right.
be bounding
Okay, Sarah, do you
as
want to
the
place
armorer. Okay. I'll place it.
it? All right. Hold on there, Luke.
Get ready, everybody. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Ready?
All right. How does it look?
Looks good.
Yeah. Let me see.
All right.
Oh,
hold on.
yeah, nice.
Hold on. Where's this gonna go?
That'll go to our trivia.
Maybe that Ewok needs to come over here so he's not blocking the view.
Yeah, the Ewok needs to sit right
he can
here.
hang out with the ghost right here.
They're like the same size.
We'll just slide them back right over here then.
All right. Oh, you know what? We also
We're
have.
talking about Ewok friends this week. We had to have Wicked standing right there.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Yay, sweetie. Look at that.
Yay.
Got Bo-Katan, got
Now,
Armor.
why does it seem like those are much further back than usual?
Because, well, okay, so sorry, Julie and James.
Oh, there we go. All right.
See, now they're bigger.
Okay.
All right, but now, are we ready for Snow
All right.
White?
With that, let's get into Snow White and the 7 magical creatures. who
Yes.
aren't very magical.
So again, we have James and Julie, and we have
Snow White and
Ooh.
7 magical creatures. who
Yes.
aren't very magical.
So again, we have James and Julie, and we have
Snow White and
Oh.
7 magical creatures.
Hold on, I'll mute you for a second. So Token Fanboy, welcome. You're
Yeah.
on screen, and if you want to, just mute us on your TV so that we don't hear.
Okay, there's
ourselves.
a little bit of a delay.
Yeah.
And so, Token Fanboy, should we call you Token Fanboy or?
On your TV so that we don't hear.
Okay, there's a little.
Oh.
Yeah. Do you have 2 monitors on?
Okay. Here. Sorry, I was.
Let's see.
Oh,
Oh,
there we go.
Uh,
We can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Let's see.
Oh, there we go. We can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you
Okay.
now.
Yeah, I couldn't hear you on my phone, so I'm not sure why.
Oh.
We can hear you.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, there.
Yeah, I couldn't hear you on my phone, so I'm not sure why.
Yeah. Are you watching us on your?
Okay.
On your computer?
I couldn't hear you on my phone, so I'm not sure why.
Yeah. Are you watching us on your computer? Like a second delay.
I have you on my TV.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Are you
we
watching
gotta
us
turn that off, otherwise we can.
on your computer? Different device. Second delay.
I have you on my TV.
Okay, yeah. Here, I'll mute for now. Sorry, guys. Hi, everyone who's also joining us in the comments. Welcome. All right. Give us a thumbs up if you've turned off your sound. Oh, okay. You're unmuted. That's good.
Okay.
We just want to make
So-
sure everyone is all good to go.
All right. So with that, let's begin the review that's been in the making for 2 weeks now. All right, Snow White. Sarah, do you want to kick us off with your initial thoughts?
Okay, I can't seem to get volume on my phone here, so I can't hear anybody. So I'm going to leave the chat here.
Okay. All right. Sorry. Well, we look forward to your comments. Okay. Sorry about that. All right. I don't know what's happening there, but if anyone else wants to join us on screen, that's fine. Otherwise, James and Julie, you guys are awesome. So, do I get to start first?
You get to start first.
Okay. And everyone else in the comments, we want to hear your first impressions. We'll also be sharing them. So feel free to write out whatever you'd like. And we will
And
read them.
like we said before, there'll be some spoilers here.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So actually, I should put the spoilers here, shouldn't I?
Yeah. In case
Okay.
anyone's coming in late.
All right. So spoilers for Snow White 2025. Just so everybody
You know what?
knows.
Just put 1937.
Yeah. There you go. Okay. Perfect. So there we go. Spoilers. Everyone knows. And then we have people's comments. Good. Okay. So I will share, first of all, my first thoughts. I was going into this, I kind of had low expectations because any of the trailers that we had seen, it seemed either too saccharine sweet, like they showed that Whistle While You Work portion,
Mhm.
and Snow White was singing, and it was like, oh, it's just too much sweetness. Or they showed some of the dwarfs, and we saw some of those, and it just wasn't, it didn't look that great because without context, they didn't look good. So I wasn't sure what to expect. I was going in with low expectations. And then right before I saw the movie, I learned that the same songwriters that wrote The Greatest Showman also wrote a bunch of songs for Snow White, which I did not know until 5 minutes before I watched it. So then it came on, and all of a sudden, this music, a new song comes up. kind of like Into the Woods, where it begins with this song that kind of tells you about the world. And I was immediately hooked. I was like, oh my gosh, this is great. There was a wishing well. Snow White had her parents. Her father gives her these 4 values. And then it goes on, and all the music that they did, I really liked. Even the little Princess Problems song, which was like your little patter song and things like that. So I feel like as a musical fan, they amped up Snow White to musical status. And so I would not call this movie a Disney movie. I'd call it a musical first. And because of that, I really liked it a lot. And I loved what they did with the prince, which they didn't make him a prince. He's more of a Robin Hood rogue type character with the heart of gold, you know, very much like those characters we know and love, like Han Solo or Flynn Rider.
I'm wondering how much of this was written after all the controversy, such as the dwarves weren't dwarves anymore, thanks to Peter Dinklage.
Right.
And I wonder if after Rachel Ziegler had said, "Oh, the prince is not going to be a stalker anymore," that Disney went and changed it to where he's not a prince. He's someone who's in the background and not that prince character.
I feel like the prince character was pretty much weaved in from the beginning. But I feel like the magical dwarf thing was an add-on because they only showed it at the very beginning in the mines where they had their hands glow.
Yeah.
They touch the rock and oh, look, it glows.
It felt like this was a couple of different movies all in one. Like first, here's the 2023 version and the 2025 version because they were trying to fix problems and it was so obvious during the movie that they were trying to fix the problem.
Now, is this your first impressions?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Now, Sarah loves musicals, and I like a good musical every now and then. But this time here, after the third song in the first act, like I wanted to hit okay, hold on, just skip. It was just too much, and I just wanted to get to the story.
But the story is in the music.
No, all of their thoughts and their feelings are enhanced in the music. I wanted to see let's get moving here. Let's get going here. I enjoyed the film. I just wish it had 50% less music. And
I love the music.
So all the added music you want out.
yes. But the story alone, I thought was fine. I thought Rachel Ziegler was really good in it. I thought she was a little too Instagram because every once in a while she'd be doing those Instagram poses during the music, and you could tell that this was a very modern remake because of her association with social media and how people like we do events. When people pose now, they don't just pose, they pose Instagram like. They suck their face in, they're doing the whole hip turns.
Well, now it's all about reels as well.
Yes, but you can always tell those who are on social media. We were just at an event and a woman was having her picture taken and she had to pose everyone was like a different Instagram pose. Same thing with Rachel Ziegler. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but you can just tell it's a remake because of that. I thought she was good. I thought Gal Gadot was good. That was a role that I don't want to say that she really embodies because she's a nice, sweet woman, but she did a good job playing very evil, very, very, I would say not overly emphasized. Like you see the bad guys are usually up, like Maleficent was big. She could fill the room. Gal Gadot, she didn't have to do that. I think maybe she's
understated.
She's seen Maleficent and said, I'm going to go opposite of that. And it still worked. Now, one last point for the dwarves. I was freaked out by all those first pictures and all the trailers that where you see like a 3-second frame of them because they're hiding the dwarves and all the marketing. But after that second song, there was Hi Ho, which you can't go wrong with. I love that song. And they were in the shadows of that cave, so you didn't get to see all that much of them. But the while you whistle while you work song, that one won me over. I thought they were at that point. Okay, I'm in with the dwarves. They're not freaking me out anymore. But just initially, those things are just scare Darth Vader. Those are really scary characters.
Okay.
There you have it.
All right, so Julie, what is your first impressions of this film?
So I initially was not interested in this movie at all. And after D23, I thought, nope, not going to see this. And then I started coming around, all right, well, I'll see it, but I had very low expectations. And then you had your post right before I saw it, like, well, now my expectations are higher. So I went in with really mixed feelings on what to expect from it. So overall, I would say I enjoyed it. It was better than I expected. I thought it had some challenges. One of which is I felt like most of and I struggled with the mix of the music in our showing, at least. In our theater, it just sounded garbled. So I didn't feel like I got a good representation of the soundtrack. And I felt like there were some weak voices singing throughout it. And so that was probably my biggest gripe with it. But I didn't really have issues with the dwarfs, which I thought I would. It was probably within a few minutes, I was good with them. It took me a couple of minutes to get there, but then once I was fine with them. And then I didn't have any problems with the story changes that they had. I liked what they did with the characters. I liked what they did with the not prince and that Robin Hood thing. I got that Robin Hood feel right away. So, I was overall pleased with it. But definitely, didn't feel like it was the best musical ever, but it's definitely a musical. And we're out. Oh, well, I don't know if we're still live, but Sarah's texting me that their internet just went out. So, I would say we're going to sit here and hang out and see if Richard and Sarah come back. And we're going to go on YouTube and see if it's still showing right now, because we are looking at it from the StreamYard. And unfortunately, I don't know that we can see the comments, so we can't do anything from the backstage, from our side of it. But it looks like maybe we're still on. I don't know. So we're going to or go to the Facebook page. You can go to Facebook. We're looking to see if it's still happening. Looks like we're still live. Oh, wait. Hey, we got it back. Yay. All right. We were going. We were not sure if we were actually still on, but we just hung out and hoped you would come back.
Okay, we're still on YouTube. Okay, good. All right. Oh my gosh. And you were saying something exciting and then you guys froze.
So Julie, you were saying there was a mixture of the music and the movies, and that's when you froze. Welcome back.
Yeah, so overall, I enjoyed the movie. It wasn't perfect. It definitely was much better than I anticipated. I would watch it again. And I definitely liked what they did with the prince and some of the character changes that they had with Snow White and her being a much stronger person, because the character Snow White from the animated movie is such the I must be saved. And so this one is a much stronger character, and I bet a better representation of who I would like to see for female characters now.
Yeah, nice. Well said. All right.
They went more of the Jasmine approach, I think, with Snow White, right? Where she didn't need to be rescued. She was her own hero. She was the hero of the picture as it was. So, yeah. Anyway, my thoughts are more aligned with Richard's. I did think there were a lot of songs that, to me, were just very average songs. Don't hate me, Sarah. I thought they just sounded like very modern, typical Broadway songs. And, when you jump to Hi Ho or Whistle While You Work, they just seem like they were definitely from two different eras. Even though the instrumentation matched, they just felt like two totally different types of songs. Like they didn't belong together.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought Rachel was fine. I like Gal Gadot as the queen. I didn't think she was the best singer, but she did better than I would have. So props to her there. And when we get to the ending, I'll talk about that part too. But,
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's go through some of these comments in the chat because we got a lot of people commenting, which is great. We love you. Maria says the movie was fantastic. Now, Maria, if you do want to join us on the back end, you can click on that StreamYard link and come on in. Same with Meredith.
So a lot of people are liking it. The only people who are not liking it are reviewers.
Yeah. Well,
which stands to
except for
reason
some of
because they've got to get their clicks.
right. Let's see. My niece and I loved the movie, says Fernando. Meredith, I love this comment. As a Walt Disney World resident, the mind felt very familiar.
See, now,
I thought that too. I immediately thought of the mine train attraction as they were going through on the carts.
Yeah, I was getting more of that than the 1937 film.
Well, because you're not as familiar with that film.
No, that's true.
Yeah, so you know the ride more, both Snow White rides,
right?
The mine train, and then also the one in our Disneyland.
Point.
Whereas I don't know, I must have watched this movie quite a few times when I was little, and I know my Aunt Anne took me to see Snow White in the theater, like it was a re-release in the 80s at some point, and I thought it was brand new. I mean, I'm like 5, and she's taking me to the theater. It was my first all butter movie popcorn. I do remember that. And then she sat me down and we watched Snow White. And I was like, wow, this is so great. So I just remember that as my first impression of that film. But I feel like they took a lot of the beautiful animation that is so iconic and referenced it just in little ways. Like you had the
hi-ho with the
dwarfs, silhouettes of the dwarfs
shadows
on the rock.
On the mountain.
Yeah. You had a moment.
Go ahead. Yeah. I was going to say, I felt that the same thing when she's running through the forest.
Yes, that one. And then another big one was Snow White. She does a little dance with Dopey. And, she turns around, spins around him. And that same exact movement was in there in that song. So I really loved the homages. You could tell the people who made this movie really loved the original and were trying to, to me, this movie felt like what Wish was trying to be, which is that iconic representation of Disney that has nostalgia to it. Because in those little nostalgic moments, I found myself getting a little teary, a little misty, because I was like, oh, it's like the original that we all know.
I wanted Chris Pine to be the Magic Mirror so badly. I really wanted Chris Pine to be the Magic Mirror.
Why Chris Pine?
Because in Wish, that's what I feel like he becomes, right? He becomes the magic mirror at the end. So I wanted him to be the magic mirror. I don't know.
That makes sense. Okay, interesting.
It's funny that magic mirror looked a lot like the V for Vendetta mask.
Oh.
It was very angular, but it also looks like that in the Snow White ride. Going back to the Snow White ride, it had that same kind of mask look. And even in the original film, it just didn't so much look like a face, but a mask.
I had one beef with the film. Well, I had a couple, but one of them was the poison apple. Was the design of the poison apple is so iconic, is so cool, and the poison apple in this one just looked like a shrunken head face. And it just didn't look like, it didn't have that nice round look that the poison apple has with the poison dripping down. I don't know. I didn't like it.
Because the cartoon, the poison the skull as it drips down, right?
Right.
And this one, the apple just kind of morphed a couple times into a skull head and then back to an apple. Yeah.
And I was like, oh, come on. You have that. So cool.
Yeah, that bothered you more than
Well,
it
didn't really stick out to me. But now that you say it, it's like, well, yeah, it's one of the iconic images.
I wish it was a different kind of apple. They all look like Red Delicious, and I hate Red Delicious apples because they are red, but they are not delicious.
No.
So I just really wanted them to use a different breed of apple.
Yeah. They're too
like an orange.
Yeah.
Orange.
Token Fanboy loved the new songs.
Yeah, but okay, now the new songs. Yeah, like James was saying, they're very Broadway-ish, and they did not stick in my head. Whereas the new songs in Aladdin, couldn't get them out of my head.
Okay.
Love those songs, and these songs here, I was just I had a clock going in my head, like, okay, 30 more seconds until it's over, 20 more seconds until it's over. They just did not. I just don't think they put enough thought into them.
Okay.
They felt familiar, and I didn't know the connection. Like I didn't recognize the connection to
Showman.
The Greatest Showman going into it. I somehow missed that comment in your in what you had posted. But when I went back and re-listened to the soundtrack, I enjoyed it better the second time. So I wasn't as enthralled by the soundtrack during the watching of the movie, but I enjoyed it more when I went back and listened to it. And now it's more like, oh yeah, it's kind of stuck in my head.
Right.
Now, Token Fanboy says he likes
Waiting
on a Wish.
Nice. Yeah, that's kind of a replacement for Someday My Prince Will Come.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I need to listen to the soundtrack again because I feel like I would appreciate it. I mean, I liked the songs when they were there, but you always appreciate music more once you kind of know it.
Right.
And so the second time through is better usually.
Well, again with the song, sorry if I can jump in.
No problem.
Little backstory about James. I was in a 4th grade production of Snow White when I was little James, and I played Doc. And one of the songs,
you look like a dog right now.
Because he's the only kid with glasses.
And we sang the silly song, the yodel song. And I was excited to see that part of the movie, and they start the yodels and then cut, and then here's a Broadway song instead. So I was a little disappointed that they didn't go into the whole silly song in this movie. So that I was a little disappointed in that.
Okay. You know what? That makes a lot of sense. Oh, okay. We have some comments to share. Go ahead.
All right. I was looking. Oh, Fernando says the bandits were fun. They were cut down severely because they were supposed to be replacement for the 7 dwarves.
Oh.
Then they brought back the 7 dwarves, so their parts were really reduced. It kind of looked like they were out of place in the film, just for me, because their costumes seemed like something that you would see at Spirit Halloween Shop. They did not fit in with the rest of the production design, the costume design, the cinematography. A+. When it came time for the bandits, no, not so much. Not so much at all. I didn't really. When they were on, they were very distracting because their costumes just looked like remnants from Spirit.
Okay. I didn't notice it.
Sorry, Fernando. They didn't do it for me.
That's okay. Well, I did appreciate them, and I liked that they had a little person as a bandit, which made me really wish that the dwarfs were played by actual little people that could embody Doc and Sleepy and Sneezy and all the dwarfs, and then they could be known as them. Like I feel like that would have been better than having animated.
Or 9-year-old James.
One dwarf was, or 9-year-old James.
Yeah.
One of the dwarfs was a.
But Peter Dinklage does not want the competition, so he's gonna make it hard.
Marty Kleba was
in it, right?
Or dwarf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I want to bring up another comment from Token Fanboy. I was talking about all the different ways that they paid homage to the original Snow White. Dopey with the jewels with the reflection of his eyes was absolutely right out of the original and a nice touch. Yes.
Yeah, for me, that was an homage to the ride.
Oh, okay. Okay. See, that's fun.
Which was an homage to the movie. So it was both. The one in the ride is an homage to the movie.
Okay, but what came first, the ride or the movie?
The movie.
Sorry, you're on mute. I can't hear you anymore.
All right, Meredith's bringing up some good points too. Now, I do feel that this film did a good job of storytelling in terms of they would lay out something and then it would be fulfilled by the end. And I really liked Dopey's storyline. And Meredith says, I loved the reason that Dopey didn't speak. And I also loved that his whole storyline, like Dopey didn't speak, and then Snow White had his little pep talk with him, and then he got to whistle. So whistling was like one step towards speaking. And then at the end of the film, or in the middle as we did, we realized that Dopey was the one narrating the book at the very beginning. So it's this nice cycle that happened.
The circle is now complete.
Yeah, I really appreciated that.
Now, Rachel Ziegler.
Okay.
when after what she had said about the film, and then seeing it, I thought, I don't see what's wrong with what she said. maybe she shouldn't have said it because she was saying I don't like the original film and we're gonna do ours so much better. But she was on the red carpet. She has no media training. You stick a microphone in her face. She's 22. She thinks she got the whole world on her shoulders.
It came out wrong.
It came out very wrong.
It basically said
she was in the moment.
Right. They updated the film, and Snow White is a much better character now, which really kind of was like backhanded
of a leader
backlash.
And the prince is not a stalker.
Right.
That's when people said, "Oh, are you dissing the 1937 film and saying the prince was a stalker?" Because he wasn't, and you should have more reverence for this film that you're now recreating. I think people took that and just blew off with it because it's D23. Everyone is doing the hashtag Snow White. Everyone's looking for it, so of course they're going to jump on that. I don't think what she said was necessarily wrong.
Right.
Maybe she shouldn't have said it, but she said it.
It
but
just came out the wrong way.
What she said about being pro-Palestinian, knowing that Gal Gadot was part of the Israeli military, I thought at that point, all right, Rachel, shut up.
Yeah, stop
talking.
Yeah,
that's and it was hard to watch the movie without thinking that. I know you should separate it, but something like that's a little bit too personal to Gal. I thought she should have known better. At this point, she should have known better, and she didn't. But it didn't take away. But it just I found myself fighting back those thoughts, trying not to think about
like
them.
You have to actively okay, let's not think about this and enjoy the film.
Right.
How'd you guys feel about that?
I tried to just go in without thinking about any of that. And I did not actively go look for any of that when it had happened. I knew that things had been said, but I didn't go watch any of the coverage of it. I tried to stay away from it as much as I could. And I think that made it easier for me to see her as Snow White and not as Rachel Ziegler. And that made a difference for me. So I didn't have that political mindset or contamination going into it.
Okay.
But yeah, I definitely agree that all those comments turned people away from it right away.
Yeah.
And people that aren't even seeing the film necessarily are hating on it, just because of the comments. Same thing with the bandit group that was going to replace the dwarves, same kind of thing. They were just jumping on that. How dare they change that? How dare they do this? And it's going to be terrible. And then just refuse to see it and judge it on its own merits. So,
yeah, what I find sad about that is it's not these two women who made the film. They were a big part of it, but there are hundreds of people who worked their asses off creating this movie, and it should be given a chance simply because of that.
In one soundbite, she ruined the whole thing, and I'm kind of upset with Disney for not backing their own product, because as soon as the weekend the movie was coming out, they were marketing Elio or
Lilo and
Stitch,
and
burying Snow White. And even after what Peter Dinklage said, I wish Disney had stepped up and said, "Hey, Peter, we don't care what you think. The dwarves, they don't live in caves. What movie did you see where you think the dwarves live in caves?" That's what he said on the Mark Maron podcast, that this movie is moving dwarfism backwards because all dwarves do not live in caves. Why didn't Disney come out and say, movie hasn't even been made yet?
And this is a fantasy world.
What do you mean they live in caves?
I like they lived in a house. I'm pretty sure we saw their house.
And they were super brave in the original.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, they chased after the Wicked Queen and chased her up a cliff because they knew they had to protect Snow White. So
I really wish they had stepped up and backed their own movie and told this guy to, shove it.
All right, I have some comments in the chat I want to bring up. And Meredith brings up a really good point that in the original Snow White, she goes into their cottage and starts cleaning it by herself with the animals, because that's what women do in the 1930s. They cook and clean, and that's it. And they take care of the men. And in this film, the dwarves came home and Snow White managed the dwarves. She delegated jobs to each dwarf, and to clean the cottage while they were doing Whistle While You Work, rather than her just cleaning it herself with the animals. And also, Token Fanboy says, I liked how they worked in teaching the whistling to Dopey during the song. See, the song, things happen in the song.
Well, no, because she'd already set up, we're going to clean the cottage. Cut to them cleaning the cottage within the song.
Within the song. But Dopey learned how to whistle with the song.
Yes, okay, but it wasn't enhancing the story. And this part, yes, but the other parts of the beginning songs, they were just, hey, I'm sad. Let's sing a 3-minute song about me being sad or happy.
The beginning song, Snow White's father gives her the 4 values within the song that then she takes.
Give her the necklace, move on.
But she gave the necklace in the song and all the values, and then that was the whole.
And everything was written on the necklace. Yes. Look at the necklace. Okay, bravery, love, don't smoke, don't text and drive.
Fair.
I got it. Let's move on now. Let's cut out a 5-minute song and let's move.
There was one issue that I had with her locket.
Oh,
there were a couple of times early on where her locket was all askew. I'm like, put it in the middle. Stop letting it be askew. Who is not fixing that as they are filming?
Yeah, it should have been attached.
Bugs me. That took me out of the movie, but then it got fixed and it wasn't an issue.
It should have just been stuck there. Yeah.
If James can do it with a Post-it, why can't they do it?
Right.
Okay, I see that comment. That's good.
All right, now the ending.
Yes.
I was very impressed with the ending. I thought the ending was great until Sarah ruined it for me.
So the ending part in particular you're talking about is not the true love's kiss of the two. The what is it? The bandit guy.
Jonathan. But that wasn't really true love because they didn't really. Okay, I'm okay.
Yeah. So what you're talking about is how Snow White goes and confronts
the soldiers.
She confronts Gal Gadot, what's her evil queen, in front of her castle and says, "Okay," but then she turns the soldiers and breaks their spell.
She said, "Okay, you want to kill me? Do it. Kill me, not the citizens, not the townspepeople."
Right, but then she says their names, the soldiers' names.
Yeah, and then says, all right, go get her. And they're approaching her, and I'm thinking, how will she get out of this? I was on the edge of my seat. I didn't know how she was going to get out of this.
She's not a fighter.
No, but she did, and I was totally surprised with what they did. And she called them out all by name. Hey, Tony, you were once the baker, and Mr. Height, you were once my teacher, and you were over here, you were this, and you were that.
We baked apple pies
together. So they all made that personal connection.
Right. And so then, Richard, you were talking to me on the way home. We do a little recording on the way home to remember. And you said you were impressed by that. And I was like, yeah, that was fun. It's just like Jasmine. And because Jasmine which I had seen 2 days ago, the live action version of Aladdin, I had seen that 2 days before again. And Jasmine does the exact same thing. When Jafar is like telling Hakim, the head of the guards, to take her into the dungeon, she goes, Hakim, I knew your father. I know you growing up as a boy. It was like the exact same speech that Jasmine had done. But I didn't have a problem that they kind of copied that, because it's a lot of those fairy tale stories are the same beats, the same story.
But then why remake it then if you're going to do the same thing or copy something else?
Because it worked.
You have this great scene where you have this character about to embody power and you just copy something else.
Well, except it's reinforcing the fact that making a connection is more important. So making a connection with people, it helps to build better leadership skills and to be a stronger leader. You do not have to lead by fear. You do not have to lead with wrath. You can know your subjects, and that can make the difference in anybody's life. So I don't have an issue with it being more than one story.
I agree wholeheartedly with that. But what if they reversed it and it was the soldiers who were bringing out the personal, like, hey, I know we grew up together. We're picking apples a couple of years ago, but I got to do this. And so it wasn't her calling them out. It was them. I know it was
because it has to be.
It has to be her. But I'm just thinking of a way that you don't replicate something that was just done a few years ago.
It was a callback to earlier in the movie, though. I don't remember who she was. learning people's names. Oh, it was the dwarfs. She was talking when they learned the names of the dwarves, and she made a comment. They said, "Oh, you got that so quickly," because she went around and named all the dwarves. And she was saying that her parents told her how important learning somebody's name is to them. And so it was a callback to that earlier part of the movie.
Oh, see, I like that.
Right, but since they just then Aladdin messed it up for them. Then
Yeah, it's all Aladdin's fault. We'll blame Aladdin.
But Jasmine only mentioned the one guy's name, and that's all. Whereas Snow White, it was more of them. So I like that. I like that callback.
I think the movie was a little bit at this point smarter than that, and they could have done something else that wasn't replicating.
I thought it was very anticlimactic, actually. You know, they were talking, they make this big plan, Snow White and the bandits and the dwarves. The bandits and the dwarves were going to sneak in, and it was going to be super difficult, and it was going to be very challenging and daring. And then they just pop up and show up like, oh, it's not even an inconvenience, right? They're just there. And, you know, you see them grab the crossbow, but you don't see any of the stealth or the sneaking in. And the whole queen just kind of gave up. Oh, you turned my guards against me. And just, I don't know. I thought it was just kind of weak after the buildup of it all.
And then the queen grabbed the dagger. It's like, okay, I'm gonna do it myself. And all of a sudden, the crossbow comes and knocks out of her hand the arrow. I wish that had been Dopey and not just this unnamed other bandit guy, because we don't know who this is. So why is this guy saving the day at the end?
Well,
that should have been Dopey.
He kept talking about his crossbow the whole time, right?
Yeah,
it was that guy. So
okay, but what's his name?
Crossbow
guy.
Crossbow guy, yeah, exactly.
Antonio.
But okay,
like Walrus Man.
Who's more important to the story, Dopey or Crossbow guy or Walrus Man?
But Dopey was the narrator.
Dopey.
Yes,
Dopey is.
Dopey. So Dopey should have been the one to save the day.
But that's
not Crossbow guy.
Yeah, well, any of the dwarves. Yeah, they just
Since Dopey was the one that she made the connection with,
right,
he would have had a more personal feeling toward this and wanted to save Snow White, his new friend.
Okay. Oh, Chad is weighing in. He liked the movie. The personal callbacks was telegraphed in the beginning. Dad said to know everybody's name. Okay, yeah. So Chad mentioned your point, Julie.
That's fun, and that's a good callback.
But Chad would have loved Dopey saving the day.
So would I.
Okay.
Or
See,
Hammerhead.
he's agreeing with you. So all right.
I don't want Hammerhead to save the day.
All right, hush. Can we talk about this other part where, at the end of the original film, the prince kisses Snow White and done. The movie's over. So Maria is saying, as a woman, I liked the prince waking Snow White with a romantic kiss. I never found that part of the original story problematic.
Because it wasn't.
No. I mean, we all grew up with the fairy tale stories.
Right. That's
things
part
like
of
that.
this. Yeah. People don't take it too seriously. It's just part of the story.
Now I have a question for Meredith. She says, I was also a fan of the fact that the kiss was kind of consensual. Now, are you talking about because they almost kissed before, but they got interrupted?
And they had more of a relationship before. So in the original, like they saw each other.
Well, they flirted in the original, right?
They what?
Didn't they flirt kind of in the original where they sing to each other? And
she was like 13 in the original. So
well,
so it wasn't like she was a complete stranger.
Yeah.
Right.
Had she walking up, it's like, who are you all of a sudden? That would have been something else, but it was someone who she had a little fling.
Just like Sleeping Beauty, right? They met one day and then, that's their true love. So, yeah, I didn't have a problem with the original Prince either.
Okay.
They imprinted.
Yeah.
All right. Fernando is also agreeing with you, so take it. I agree.
Now I want Greedo to save the day.
Chad, I wish Dopey would have kissed her on the hand for true love's kiss. Oh.
You see, now that would have been more believable because who's this prince all of a sudden? He wasn't even a prince. He was Jonathan.
He was Jonathan.
Okay, but
they had cute chemistry. I like.
Yeah, but Dopey had more of a chemistry. But how much would people have flown off the hook had Dopey been the one to give her the kiss?
Yeah, that would have been.
Oh my!
They would have been crazy.
It would have worked for the story,
right?
But for social media, it would not have worked.
What happened? Why did you change it so much? Ah!
It all comes down to social media. Now, at the beginning, when you were reading your initial thoughts, it looked like you had some more. Or were you going over those as we went along.
You did kind of interrupt me a little bit.
Well, initial thoughts,
I know.
Glenn. Our initial thoughts. Okay,
I
you just
Done.
you had gone down to your third point. Initial thoughts.
Okay.
I thought you were done. You paused. You looked at me. I thought, okay, this is my chance. And you know
You were
what?
wrong.
Sometimes I get you and Glenn mixed up
You
when
are
you give me
incorrect.
initial thoughts. Okay.
All right.
All right.
Well, can I share something?
Yes, I apologize for interrupting. I thought you were done.
All right.
I'm sorry to see this ugliness between us.
What I really liked, and one of the things I really liked from the original movie was these nice round animals, like the round shape of the beautiful
eyes.
deer head and the eyes and the everything. And then here they were, the animals. They weren't photorealistic animals. They were like fashioned after
Cartoons.
the original.
I
cartoon.
loved the animals.
Yes.
I love the animals. Mhm.
The little
I
bunny,
agree.
the little hedgehog. And they were opening the storybook. Oh, so cute, little animals.
And the little bunnies were cute.
Yeah, the bunnies were adorable.
If they don't sell 1 billion of these things,
they need some plush. Is all I'm saying. I would buy all the little Snow White plush.
But no crossbow guy action figures, right?
no, he ruined the whole movie for me.
Oh, Chad liked the CGI dwarfs.
Yeah.
Chad, please share more.
See, now I'll springboard off of that
Okay.
because the CGI dwarves and the CGI animals, they all worked within the same environment.
Okay.
If the animals were too realistic and the dwarves weren't, then it would not have meshed together. But seeing how the old hag looked digital and seeing how the dwarves and the animals, they all work together to form this uniform aesthetic to this part of the forest. So for me, the dwarves worked at that point.
Okay. All right. Let's see. So hold on. Let me look at more points. Oh, okay. So Richard, you said you loved the cinematography.
I
Do you wanna bring
loved it.
any
I think
particular moments?
The way that the cinematographer and the editor worked together, because there were a lot of shots that were just put together in this little sequence that it just sang. It worked so well together, just so fluid. It had more depth. The castle in the beginning.
Oh.
It had a lot more. It didn't look flat like some of the other. Even Beauty and the Beast looked a little bit too digital, and everything had a flat 4K look. But at this time, when they were all singing and dancing within the castle, they would go behind these big pillars and they would go out of focus and just look more realistic because not every shot was 100% in focus.
Okay.
And I love when I see out of focus shots. You'll see a lot of those in Star Wars. And for a while, it's like, why is that shot out of focus? But it just gives it much more of a realistic look. That's why I loved the cinematography and the whole structure of it. And I don't know if it was Mark Webb. He's the guy behind the Amazing Spider-Man, the Andrew Garfield. So guy knows what he's doing. But I don't know if it was him or the editor who said, "Hey, let's put all this stuff together."
Okay. I have to comment on a shot that I really loved, and it was when the costumes were amazing. The costumes, the makeup, especially for Gal Gadot as the evil queen, her makeup even was like pointy. You know, her everything was pointy about her. And when they finally had her in the iconic look outfit where she has the black cape with the white, collar, and then she's got the purple dress, and the way they kind of upgraded that look, but then they added to it, and in the production design, talk about a shot. The shot came, a crane was like looking at her, and then it went like above her head, and then her whole character was framed with the cape behind her that was in the colors of a peacock, and it was amazing. Like that shot took my breath away.
Yeah, we have this in our notes. We were on the way home. She was saying how impressed she was, but I'm thinking, who's gonna clean that cape now? It's dragging on the floor. It's like, oh,
she's got people. She's got people.
Yeah, or she has like little animated birds. Like, even the little blue jays, like, come on, don't drag that on the ground. And it was a white cape too.
No, her cape was not white. It was black with the different.
The shot that I'm thinking of.
Okay,
went behind her. It was a white. Yeah, it had a lot of dark designs and accents to it, but it was but the underlying color was white.
Okay,
that's why it gave me the creeps.
Who's gonna watch that? Okay, Chad, because he's rode Seven Dwarfs Mine Train 50 times more than I watched the movie. I loved all the Seven Dwarfs throwbacks and references in the movie. Cool. Yeah, each of us comes to this with our own impression, so I like that. Well, yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say one thing I really did like was the colors of it. You know, at the beginning when her parents were still alive and the village was prosperous, everything was dynamically colored. The clothes of all the townspeople, the castle itself, and then when you get to when Gal Gadot's in charge, the castle has this gray hue to it. The sky is a different color. And then when you get to the very end and the celebration and everything's all white and clean and pretty. So I appreciated the color throughout the movie.
That's right. They were all wearing white at the end.
Yeah.
That was really fun.
It was like Ahsoka's whites.
Yeah.
I was thinking it's like it's a Small World finale.
Yeah. That's amazing. I love that. Wow. I'm making notes because
her initial costume, the iconic costume, I thought could have been updated a little bit because it did look a little Halloweenish.
Oh.
I wasn't on board with that. I thought it could have been changed just a little bit, but how much can you change an iconic costume?
Right.
Well, I was confused, and I do understand we had to get to that dress, and she's in that dress most of the movie, but she's in kind of her work outfit, right? Yeah. She's scrubbing. Yeah. Now she's gonna go pick apples. So what do? You get dressed up in your nice dress to go pick apples? I don't, that part I'm just like, I don't get why we change clothes to go apple picking, but yes, I know. We gotta get her in the dress. So
apple picking with the huntsman. It's like, oh, Snow White, have you not seen The Godfather?
Yeah. Put on the dress you want to be buried in.
Now, unfortunately, this morning you wake up and you see all the headlines you didn't want to see. Snow White's a bomb. Disney's going to lose so much money on Snow White. Came in so underperformed. Where it didn't do that well, but I think everyone now is cheering the fact that this is bombing, which I was hoping so much it wouldn't. But on the bright side, it made more than Mufasa, and Mufasa went on to make $700 million globally, which is a king's ransom. So
maybe it'll have a slow burn.
Yeah. After everyone's done insulting it and putting it down, like, hey, maybe I'll after giving it all these bad reviews, maybe I'll go and see the movie now.
Right.
So hopefully at that point people will go and see it and it will rise above expectations. And I really hope it does, because it deserves better than what these headlines are giving it. The box office, I think we all knew it was going to bomb. We all knew because it made better headlines for the YouTubers.
Right. But I hope if give it a chance. Anybody who hasn't seen it, it's a fun film. Unfortunately, the negativity. I'm glad, Maria, you took your daughter, I believe, and you guys had a good time. So I think that's what matters, is people, have a good time with it, bring people to it who might enjoy it.
But at this point, Disney needs to own it. And it's already in the rear view mirror and already going on to Lilo and Stitch and Elio, which speaks volumes. Whenever a studio comes up with hey, I know this is coming up, it has a lot of bad press, but look over here, like what they did with the Mandalorian and Grogu. As soon as the movie, the new Jedi Order was getting so much bad publicity, they said, hey, look at Grogu, everybody, look at Grogu.
Right.
And it's very telling. It's we're not stupid.
Grogu, look at Stitch.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we can see right through that. And I'm kind of upset that they don't think too highly of us when they do pull a stunt like that. But give it some time. And they did this with Solo and Mary Poppins. Like, oh, there's Solo, but look, there's Mary Poppins too. No, believe in your movies, Disney.
Yeah. All right, Chad. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think what would save this is word of mouth. So we all have to go tell people what we thought. People who actually saw the movie need to share.
Yeah. And that's why I shared a lot, because I was very surprised at how fun it was. So
Yeah, we were trying
But-
to spread the word. Hey,
Yeah.
You know what? See it, then form your own decisions.
Mhm.
Don't let everyone else form your decisions.
yeah. Maria says, my daughter wants to see it again. I would like to see it again in the theater, honestly, because I think it was a fun theatrical film.
Yeah, once they come up with the Richard cut, where they cut out most of the music, I'm in.
All right. So if you love Disney, if you love musicals, go see the movie in the best theater you can find. That's a very good point, Chad. Yeah.
Oh, that Hi Ho song, that can be its own like viral video. That was just done so well.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Do you want to share?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, Token Fanboy comes up, and we'll wrap it up with it. If the kids like it, then it'll do okay for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Well, what is this, March? What's coming up next? That, well,
I don't know.
Well, this coming week is Minecraft.
Oh boy.
Or
Okay.
next week.
Is it coming? Okay.
Yeah, but Snow White didn't make it to the #1 position, and it'll make it #1 next week, and then Minecraft will bury it.
Okay. All right, everyone. Well, thank you guys for joining us.
Thanks for having
Yeah,
us.
thanks for letting us be on the show.
Of course. And sorry, Token Fanboy, that didn't work out. But I'm glad you shared a lot of comments here in the chat.
We got a chance to see what you look like.
Yeah. And everyone else, thank you for commenting. We loved your comments. So I guess until next week.
Yeah, when we come back, we'll do our review on the WonderCon panel.
Oh,
Yeah, and Season of the Force.
yeah. Should be fun.
A lot of fun.
All right, everybody.
That'll
That's
be
it.
next week on
Things
Things we want to share. Things we want to share. Things we want to share.